Live from the McCommune Studios in Linwood, Washington, this is the Podworms Spacecast. Like a motel in California, we hope you chose to listen to this podcast because you saw pictures of our carpet. Welcome to the Spacecast.
We put those online?
Today we have our Charlotte, Jim Charters.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll be the Charlotte.
I'm giving everybody Sex in the City.
I know, I like this. This is good. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll be Charlotte.
I've never seen an episode, but I just picked four because there's four of us. So
Yeah. It's the perfect number.
Our Carrie is Mike McCoy.
Hey, I'm that character.
And Samantha Peter Freeze.
He's such a Samantha.
He's such a Samantha. And finally, I am your host, your Miranda, Kevin McCoy.
There he is.
I literally just like IMDb'd Sex in the City. I don't know anything about that show.
Oh, it seemed like you really knew.
I
was totally fooled.
Yeah, that's like it's just like a Miranda thing to do.
Yeah, so seems like it. Yeah,
we've got a lot of great segments for you today. We're gonna talk about times when people have completely overreacted to situations.
Oh, nice.
Oh fuck. We're gonna introduce a new segment called My Life in Cattywampus.
Okay.
And then we're going to finish up this podcast with a game, classic game of the Podworms called the 10-Minute Movie. Okay, well, before all of that, we're going to talk about this thing that I've been noticing is my level of annoyance with friends is sometimes completely out of line with like what happens.
Okay.
I noticed this recently. So, and you could tell me. So, the other day I went to a party with a friend. I picked him up from his house and drove him there.
Okay.
We get to this party, which is at a bar.
Yep.
And right when we park, he realizes he left his wallet at home.
Oh God.
And I was like, okay. I was like, well, maybe we can get inside. Turns out they had a bouncer at the door, so we couldn't even get in the bar. So I was like, I'll just buy your drinks for you. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But he didn't have his ID either. So I was like, okay. We drove 10 minutes back to his place and picked up his wallet. But right before we get out of the car, literally in front of his house, he looks down and in the car seat pocket is his wallet.
No.
So then we drive all the way back and join the party. So like it was like literally 2 wasted trips.
Plus you had to park in Seattle twice.
Yeah, I didn't have to. He told me he could literally right when we parked, he lost his wallet. And so we parked, we walked to the front of the bar and I just didn't pay for parking until I knew that it was covered. So I had it plugged into my phone ready to hit pay, but didn't do it. But I was not at all annoyed by this, even though this wasted close to a half hour of my time.
Right.
Like I was like totally fine with them. Like, you know what, that's fine. You forget it.
Yeah.
But same friend, different time, comes over to my house, visits with his girlfriend. They show up and we hang out for about an hour and I give them each drinks. And after an hour, they leave and go home. And they leave both their drinks 75% full on the floor of my living room.
Uh-huh.
And I found them at different times, both by kicking them and knocking them over and spilling it all over my floor.
No.
So I knocked 2 different drinks, but I've got a hardwood floor, so it takes.
Jim very quickly grabbed his cup, which was more than half full, sitting on the ground.
Water's fine. But it for some reason that really upset me where I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But I was at home alone by myself.
Yeah.
Luckily not mad at anybody's face. But I was like, how do you leave a drink half full on the ground and not just put it by the sink? I don't even care
just
anything else.
Even on a table or a surface that
or
wouldn't
even
be
tell
kicked.
you, hey, our drinks are we left our drinks.
That's interesting. I actually would say that situation is way more annoying than the first one, though.
It is.
It's interesting. Okay. Even though it took to wipe those up, if you sum up the whole entire time I spent cleaning up my house versus the amount of time I spent driving.
Yeah.
It's a fraction of the time.
I guess that's true, but there's something about the idea of having to get on your hands and knees that makes me very upset. With the driving, it's like, oh, I'm still standing
and
up.
Also
I'm
the
on
fan
2 feet.
Also the point that it that situation would have never happened had you known they were there and you had not kicked it over. And that would be way more annoying to me. Other than the fact that the guy left his Like, the guy left his wallet as a complete accident in your car, and you're
Right.
like, oh, we just couldn't find it.
Yeah, but I think also leaving your drink on the ground is an accident because maybe he
No,
meant
it's
it to-
not an accident.
That is a crime.
That's not an accident at all. Because it's not a place you should leave a drink. A similar thing happened to me this last week. I gotten off the train and I was looking, because everybody gets off the train at once, and I was trying to dodge around some people, and I was walking towards the train, and on the platform there's train gap, like a sort of textured yellow strip where you're not supposed to stand, and then there's some other concrete. So I was walking around a couple people, and I kick my foot into a completely full styrofoam cup of coffee.
Oh,
And this is in the afternoon. Like, it had been sitting there all day. And I kicked my foot into it, and it exploded everywhere around me.
oh no!
and onto my pants and everything. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, who left that there? And that was unbelievably bad. Of course.
Yeah.
That's the totally booby trapped.
Yeah, completely. Just like your living room.
Yeah. I think I would hate that more because you were out, right? And you're like in your clothes, and like there's no
yeah.
options at that point.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going home, but still.
But it's like then you have to get on the bus and like just have old Seattle gross coffee. Like
yeah.
who knows where that coffee was?
Yeah, who knows?
It was
Definitely
just-
not Seattle best.
Wait, the coffee or like just the situation?
Everything.
No, definitely not Seattle's best at all.
Right.
Here's another scenario where I kind of like my reaction is like, so a friend left me like a surprise Christmas gift in the backseat seat of my car,
Okay.
which is like a nice thing, right?
Yeah.
But all of the wrapping paper was like literally like wrapping paper covered in like an entire layer of glitter all the way around it. It's like basically just glitter paper.
In the back of your car?
And they left it in the back of my car to the point where like I wasn't even excited about the gift anymore. And I see,
Yeah.
like it's been 2 years and there's still glitter.
Of course there is. Yeah.
That reminds me. That reminds me of when we filmed. We graduated high school in 2010. Mike, Phil, Chase, Andrew, Mike, and I. So 2010.
And Chase and Phil, I believe, and Andrew,
And Andrew.
And
yeah.
Andrew and I. Yeah.
and you and I.
So Jim and Kevin are the only ones that didn't graduate in 2010. Could have said that. Anyway.
Some of us didn't graduate at all.
Right. True. Andrew actually didn't get his GED.
God, yeah, he didn't.
He didn't. So, which is why he's in Redwood City right now. But the point of this story is not that. It is, you probably had glitter all over your back seat for a while, right?
Yeah.
So I had my Ford Escort car that I've been driving for the last like 10 years. I got it in 2008. So yeah, it's almost been, it's been 10 years. We filmed a graduation wrap where we painted Phil in body paint that we
Oh,
got
yeah.
from a sex shop somewhere in like the Seattle area. And it was
Right.
this like blue body paint, and we tried to paint him up like an Avatar person.
Yep.
And
Avatar was really popular that
This
year.
is very, very relevant and popular.
Huge deal.
And Phil's a pretty hairy dude. So when we were pulling it, they started pulling it off in the back seat of my car. He was sitting in the middle of it. I kid you not, to this day, when I clean out my car, there are still chunks of that blue body paint.
Really?
Yes.
That is the
To this
grossest
day.
thing
I
ever.
know. It's not gross.
Jesus, that's terrible.
What, that's like what, 12 years ago?
Yeah, well, no, it's not 12 years ago,
9.
but it's like 9 years ago. Isn't that
Jeez.
insane?
That is crazy.
God, that's awful. Yeah.
Get a
And
new
I
car.
cherish every
yeah,
piece.
yeah.
Get a new car.
Burn the car to the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you ever gotten it
I'm-
detailed?
And then kill Phil.
That car?
Yeah.
Well, it's not worth it. It's a 99 Ford Escort with roll up windows.
You need to get a new car.
There's a spot on the dash for a tape player. There's not a tape player.
Oh, you didn't get the upgraded?
No.
Nope.
Dang, that's too bad. So you just got the blue body paint version. That's disgusting.
Yeah. Come to think of it, I should have just taken the rest of that body paint and painted the car.
Yeah. I mean,
back to the wrapping paper though. Like I've been at the store and been like so excited when I saw some like insane bullshit wrapping paper and I have purchased it or Julia has purchased it and we brought it home. We're like, we're gonna wrap all our gifts in this. It's so stupid. People are gonna hate it. But then we just have those sitting around, never opened. And every time that we're like, oh, it's someone's birthday or it's like Father's Day or something, I like go and I look and like all we have is Christmas wrapping paper and the super like glittery like covered ones. And I'm like, I don't even want to touch those or try and wrap anything in my house because that's sabotage.
Oh, bro.
It's literal sabotage.
You'll open that package, it'll just shoot out.
You need to get on the gift bag bandwagon.
See, this is my problem though. Like that's another thing. Like I always go to the dollar store for cards and bags and wrapping paper because it's just like so much cheaper. Like it's literally like $5-6 that you just pay $1 for.
Yep.
But like I've noticed recently, every time I go to get a gift bag, it's always like a normal bag, but then there's like one design in the center with like a cool like logo or something, but there's like the nose of the clown or something, whatever it is like red glitter on the bag, on the outside of the bag.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do it.
Just
Interesting.
can't make myself do it. Can't put it in the car.
No.
Can't deliver it.
Yeah, it can't be a part of it.
Yep. If the glitter was inside the bag, which I don't know why it would be, that would be a totally different story.
Yeah, if your gift was glitter,
And he put it
That's-
inside
see,
a
that's-
non-glitter
Game changer.
bag.
That's
Game
just a
changer.
trap.
when they
at that
open it up,
point.
think about this. Think about a perfectly normal gift wrapped box. They unwrap it. Okay, they pull apart the ribbon, falls apart. Boom, glitter everywhere. That's not bad because that's a gift.
That's true, but even that's actually just such a great idea if you would ever like to sabotage someone and act, but like in a non like super aggressive way, is you get them a gift bag, you get them a gift, you wrap that gift in tissue paper. On top of the tissue paper, you dump a whole thing of glitter. So they have to like. There's no getting around. Like if you want this gift, you're gonna have to go through the glitter to open up the tissue paper.
There's the off chance that person's going to take that gift bag and dump it out to try to get their gift out.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they have glitter everywhere.
Yeah. If they peer inside, they're like, oh, I know a great way of getting all of this out of here. I'm going to dump this whole bag onto my floor.
You might get somebody who's so amped about their birthday or Christmas, they're just going to dump that thing out.
Hate glitter. It's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere.
I was at Julie and I went to Lizzo down in Portland and we went with some friends and one of our friends brought like glitter to like just toss at people like and so we were like down like up in the front row. Lizzo's pumping some tune and then like someone notices that they've got glitter and they're like, pour glitter on me, and they kind of like do a shimmy thing and then Robin, our Julia's coworker who had the glitter, like puts it in his hand and blows the glitter from his hand, but almost all the glitter goes straight onto this girl's forehead and not like all over her chest and boobs, like how she was like shimmying like where she wanted it. But then she kept dancing. She had no clue, but like I was like dying. I was like, that's not where you meant for it to go. It's just like literally like a pile of glitter on someone's forehead. It was good. It was still very magical though.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was funny.
Glitterhead.
Glitterhead.
I remember the glitter days.
The glitter days.
I've seen glitter days.
So I'm gonna move this into overreactions.
Okay.
Oh, fucking shit.
So at this party I was at just 2 days ago, I was hanging out with some friends. They're more actually. There's two people who are mostly acquaintances of mine.
Yeah.
We're hanging out at their place like after this party. Stopped by and then like everything was super chill. We were hanging out. Me and my friend leave, and literally not even 10 minutes later, we get a phone call from that group of the guy and the girl that we had just left. They had broken up. within 10 minutes.
Yikes.
And she had thrown a brick through his front window
This all happened the 10 minutes that you left?
within 10 minutes of leaving their place.
You were telling me about this. It's so fun. You got out of there at the right time.
Yeah, we left. I am glad I was
a
not a part of
wrong
that at
time.
all.
No, that was an overreaction. They were saving that up, man. They were just waiting until you guys to leave.
I cannot believe how fast that turned. I'm still like amazed by that.
You know, I thought about that story because Kevin told me this a couple days ago. But the thing that I actually don't understand is like, where did you get the brick?
She was saving that shit.
I
She
don't
had that
know.
brick
Did she
hidden
have
some-
the brick?
She had the brick.
Was there a construction site nearby?
She pulled out the street.
Did she pull it out of the house?
Yeah.
Was she
Just chiseled a fucking brick
Yeah.
out and was like,
Did
I
she
will destroy you with your own bricks.
was she inside the house and did she throw it through the window from inside the
way did
house
she throw
or
it?
outside the house through the window?
I assume. You know what? I don't know. I should probably call them and find out. Let's get them on the pod.
Hey, we had a couple questions about the brick throwing incident recently. Were you inside of the house throwing the brick outside? Were you outside the house throwing
We
the
just have
brick
a
inside?
couple questions for our listeners.
In either scenario, where did you get the brick?
Was it a red brick?
Was it red?
and secondarily, are you guys getting back together?
So you're single, huh?
Yeah. So it just made me think about like all the overreactions I've ever seen in public. And I've got like a few, but you guys should share things. But it reminded me of this one thing that I totally forgot. That's like almost shocking now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was still weird, but it was back when I was like at camp, like as like a sophomore of high school at this like sleepaway camp for a week. And there was like pranks going back and forth between the guys in the girls' cabin. And apparently some girls, like, I don't know, I think they must have gotten all the guys' sleeping bags wet and like made like horn sounds at night to keep them up.
Yeah.
So they had a miserable night. But I remember waking up to like every day you wake up and line outside the main mess hall with your cabin waiting to go inside and eat. And they, based off of how loud you're cheering, they let those groups in first. Well, I remember going out to line up because I was just like ready for breakfast, coming to the front of the mess hall. And there was two high school girls tied to the front post of the mess hall with their feet in like those like 10-gallon buckets that were filled with ice water.
What the
And
This is overreaction.
they had fish guts smeared all over their faces and bodies.
This was church
and there was
camp?
two.
Yeah.
Yes, this was church camp.
What
There
the
was
goddamn fuck?
two male counselors who must have been college age kids. Like at that time they seemed so old, but now I'm like they were like really young kids with squirt guns who would like squirt the girls anytime they tried to talk in the face.
What the fuck?
That is traumatic. that is
beyond
horror movie
beyond an
fucked up.
overreaction.
Holy shit.
Isn't that the craziest shit? I totally forgot this.
Oh man.
Until
insane.
until I was
suppressed it.
yeah, I totally forgot about this.
Fish guts, feet in cold water. That's kind of like why at that point you already got the fish guts.
mean, like, this is
and they're tied to posts.
completely overkill at this
Oh
point.
my god.
I mean, like, why not just go for the whole thing and, put them on maybe some type of cross?
Make an example out of them.
Make a real example
Yeah.
out of them at church camp.
And
Like,
then
teach
ask
the kids a lesson.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
ask the director of the camp whether the campers want one or
One
the
or the
other.
other.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
And then when they make the choice, the camp director will just wash their hands.
Yeah,
of it.
wash our hands of it. Yeah.
I'm
they
not to
made the
blame.
choice.
Yeah,
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. This is a real thing that I
know,
saw
this is
with my own
entirely
eyes.
fucked up.
Yeah, it's so fucked up, and like I gotta imagine those guys got a talking to.
Yeah, a talk at least. A talking
And talking to is not what they should have
No,
gotten.
no.
They
But
should have been banned.
I would be so surprised though if they were like fired because it was just like that was the world.
But it's like think about the movie, the horror film Carrie. And she gets some pig blood or whatever dropped on her. In this scenario, She's not tied up. She doesn't have her feet in cold water.
No.
I would argue that fish guts and the pig blood, not that different,
Nope.
but they're also fucking tied up. They can't speak.
They're being
Like,
shot
this
with
is
squirt
worse
guns.
than a horror movie. That is so fucked up.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
No,
Yeah.
we need to figure out what happened, where these girls are now.
I know that would be some interesting investigative journalism, is to just go find out who was in the camp that specific
And
year.
we'll conduct interviews and see who else saw it, the incident.
Kevin,
Is there
can you
any
make a-
investigative journalists listening right now?
Oh, I was going to say, Kevin, as a Podworms promise, can you find these girls?
Yeah, Kevin,
I
the
don't think
executive
so.
committee is assigning you
Can
to
you
this.
find these counselors?
You know what? I bet I could dedicate a ton of time and probably get somewhere.
Awesome. Great.
Well,
That's what we wanted to hear.
Cool. Thanks, man.
we're
Excited for that bit. I love it.
we're gonna check in with you next week. It's gonna be great.
What's the name of that serial podcast?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know.
Fish guts.
It's kind of
It's probably fish guts.
It's probably fish guts, I guess.
it's like Guts Town.
Guts down. I was trying to think. Yeah. Ugh, that's awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that left a bad taste in my mouth, Kevin.
Well, like if
Fish guts taste.
if there's no other overreaction stories, if we want to get past
I don't think
that,
I could come up with anything
No, I don't-
even
I mean,
remotely as good
I don't
as
think I
that.
can top that.
No one's trying to top that.
No. But I'm trying to think of something that would match, even work in the same context.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's so fucked up.
It's really crazy.
I mean,
Okay, Peter, what do you got?
Okay, Peter.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand got shot.
Sparks an entire world war. You know that's a pretty big overreaction.
And then World War I started.
Okay, fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a bit much.
It kind of was.
It was. This is
So,
okay. This is a
why don't we all
lot.
go to war then?
Meet me on the Podworms sister cast, History Worms.
History work.
Voted most likely to be president in high school. This guy.
Oh, well, failing right now.
Oh,
What? Peter, want to talk about it?
Well, I'm not eligible yet, so.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Oh, so you're a failure right now.
I'm not eligible.
Don't worry. When
Fucking failure.
when I'm 35, though, we'll be fine.
Oh, it'll
Okay,
be great.
good.
It'll be so good.
Nice. Well, let's completely palate cleanse here
Okay.
with a new segment called My Life in Cattywampus. And I don't know why I called it that, but that's the name. And what we're gonna do is
Is that the name of the investigative journalism podcast
that's
that you're
that's
gonna
the
Name of
one.
the podcast. My Life in Cattywampus. Day 1, I was strapped to a pole.
That is how it would start. The first episode ends with saying, and that was the beginning of my life. In
That was the
Cattywampus.
beginning of the rest of my life in Cattywampus.
So in this segment, we're gonna create a fictional country, Cattywampus,
Okay.
that has its own holidays, traditions,
Yes.
people, customs, styles.
Styles.
And then we're going to talk about what it's like to live there, as if we all live there, and compare it to the U.S.
Wait, okay. First of all,
Yeah.
every year we gather 2 people. We tie them to a pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put their feet in buckets of iced water. We
As is
smear
tradition.
fish guts on their face,
Right.
Yeah.
cover their mouths,
Yeah.
and then they're shot with squirt guns.
And that's what we celebrate Fish
Yeah.
Guts Day.
Yeah, and that's
And
like a it's like a big festival.
on the crowd votes on who we release and who we sacrifice.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a really big festival. The people love
Yeah.
it. Everybody gets dressed up in. They wear buckets on their feet.
Yeah, it's actually a religious holiday.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there is a lot of dispute on the theology. Some people believe that there was actually fish guts on the feet.
Yeah.
And ice buckets on the head.
Yeah. The prevailing
right.
philosophy is that the buckets go on the feet, and the fish guts on the head.
Because it'd be insane to be any other way.
There's a small sect who do put the bucket on the head and the fish guts on the feet, but they are, again, a small sect and a tad bit crazy.
Well,
They're a bit extreme.
Extremist. I mean, why would you put fish guts on feet?
I
mean,
know
come on.
it's very
doesn't
offensive.
make any sense.
I mean, have you read the Good Hook book?
the Good Hook book.
It's written by Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, our Lord and Savior.
The patron saint of Cattywampus is Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss, who wrote the Good Hook book. Yeah.
A caveat to this: the non-racist Dr. Seuss, who never did any.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, so Dr. Seuss, not his real name.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm realizing I'm over my head.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss is racist, Mike.
No.
Get with it.
Is he? Oh.
Yeah, there was some stuff that came out.
He's a butter
Just
side
recently?
downer.
Ugh.
It was probably
Why
like
is he doing that?
5 years
Why
ago.
is he fucking doing that?
Well,
he's dead.
He's long gone.
I know, but why?
Why you do that?
Why you do that?
It's weird because he does have like books that seem like they're like, hey, all the people should get together, but it's like politics that he's talking about, not like
Yeah.
people
Not-
groups.
Yeah, not
That's true.
humanity.
Oh God. No. Okay. All right.
Anyway, all right. So we've established a religion.
Yeah, we established
Which is kinda
a
where
holiday.
most people groups have to start. We've established the religion.
Yeah, and their belief system about
The Good Hook book.
the Good Hook book, based on Dr. Seuss.
On every young boy's 16th birthday,
Ooh.
they must go to the pond
Yes.
and wed a fish.
Oh,
Whoa!
like
holy
it's like a
shit.
ceremonial thing. They had to catch the fish.
Well, they have to catch it.
Yes.
If the boy doesn't catch the fish with his bare hands, he never gets married.
Oh,
What the ceremony does is allows him to marry one of the women of the country.
Yeah, sorry.
And-
I
and-
misspoke.
and-
he weds
yeah.
after catching the fish.
But he has to catch it with his bare hands.
Yeah,
Yes.
and thankfully, in the past, in medieval times, they did actually have to catch the fish with their hands out of the lake. But you know, it's now in modern days, they have a fish tank set up.
Yeah, we're not
Right.
so
They
archaic.
just stick their hand into it and
Right.
grab it out.
The richer families are able to buy fish tanks and fill them full of fish
Yeah.
so their sons don't
Yeah.
look like
Yep.
idiots.
And some of the more progressives who, the progressive youngins,
Yeah,
they don't even go and try and catch a fish. They just get married.
no.
They just go to the store and buy a fish.
They just go straight and get married. They're like,
Right.
I don't need these customs.
Hey, Cindy bought the fish. Said we get married.
Well, and it's all symbolizing the original Good Hook fish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Like
right.
those fish that are caught for the marriage are the fish guts that are used for the ceremony.
Right.
There's nothing more offensive to me though when a couple gets married and then they try and go and grab a fish.
Whoa.
I don't even want to
that-
hear it, Mike.
You're supposed to do that before marriage.
I don't even want to hear it.
That's disgusting. That's just awful.
Yeah, or like, have you seen those like born again fishers
Oh my gosh.
where they just like get divorced and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna fish again." I'm like, "What?
You can't.
You can't.
I'm
you
gonna
can't
go
do
down
it.
and catch me another
You can't do it
fish.
You probably
twice."
should have gotten. You didn't really even catch a fish.
Well, and
if you got-
remember, there's those folks that have the buckets on their heads and the fish guts on their feet.
How could I forget?
And they
Very extreme small sect.
whether it's another husband or another wife, they're catching multiple fish.
Whoa.
what?
Mm.
They don't discriminate.
There's some families that have 5 husbands and 6 wives.
And not one fish.
So for me, like, do you guys think that the fish guts actually transform into the original fish guts, or that they're just representative of the
Well,
fish
remember-
Sorry,
guts?
do you mean the first
Like,
fish guts?
There's some, you know how like some people believe that they were from the actual fish. Like once you smear it on your legs, it
Right.
actually becomes from the first fish.
Well, it depends
Right.
because some folks use the fish guts, others use the caviar. So,
Oh.
and then there's those crazy fucking ice bucket
oh
heads.
my gosh, don't get me started. Don't get me started on the ice bucket people.
Yes. Who fucking
Fish
cares
feet.
about the ice bucket?
Those fish feeders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, now that we've all moved to the States, like, what's the weirdest tradition here? Like, what throws you off about coming from Cattywampus and living in Seattle?
Number one.
Oh, freedom and democracy. I mean, the brutal dictatorship of Cattywampistan. That was
That's so true. That's true.
Yeah.
Number two is definitely the lack of fish catching by hand.
By hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then number 3, it's really hard for me to get the good fish hook book. Like, there's not very many.
No, it's been out
editions.
of print in the United States for a long time.
Yeah.
That's so true. I feel very fortunate to live in Seattle, where I can go down to Pike's Place and see people tossing fish. It gives me the sense of home
Ew.
and the smell of it.
I love jumping in front and saying, "Caught it! You're not getting married."
You know, the
But I am. Ha!
And then I grab his wife and I run away.
You belong to me now.
I'm just really glad that the immigrant community from Cattywampus and Seattle is really strong.
Yeah.
I shared
It's very
beliefs.
strong. Very strong. Yeah, we have our own booth at Pike's Place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, question.
Go ahead.
Because again, new
Answer.
to the city. Is
Yeah.
it Pike's Place or is it Pike Place?
Well, it's owned by Mr. Pike.
So
So he possesses the place, and it's
Pike's
Place.
I thought it's Pike
I'm
Place.
pretty sure it's Pike Place.
Well, it's not so because Mr. Pike, who
believe-
started the market
yeah, I'm sorry. Mr. Pike owns
back
that
in
place.
1889, he lent his name to it.
And don't get me started about Mr. Pine.
You know,
Well, it definitely is Pike Place Market. Anyway,
I mean, I think it's just as debated here as the buckets are for us.
Yeah.
no, those people are wrong. And Fishhook willing,
Yeah,
they will be defeated.
Hook willing.
Hook willing.
May he catch us all.
May he catch us
all.
May he catch us all.
I love that we didn't really come up with a culture at all. We just came up with like a cult.
We came up with a religion. A religion that's probably only big enough for a small town, not a country.
This is like a 4 or 5 million person countryside.
They're very modern. They have big cities.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
They're
this
very
is good.
progressive, but
Yeah,
they
but
all
they-
believe in the
Yeah.
good hook. But
It's got a lot of wisdom.
Is got a lot of wisdom in it.
Hook your neighbor as yourself.
I was trying to think of what was the weirdest for me moving here, and I just think it was Taco Tuesdays. Like, what's up with that?
right.
It's so weird.
yeah, they eat fish
'Cause
here.
we
That's
do.
so gross.
Why would you eat any fish?
Yeah, they're so. That's very offensive to me. They're very holy.
Yeah.
You know,
I just smear their guts on my body.
Yeah, I would never eat it. I would just massacre it and smear it all over.
I would
me.
just cut it open down the middle and then smear its insides on me.
Yeah.
And then burn its flesh in a
I
holy
couldn't-
pyre.
Couldn't even imagine actually eating one of the things.
No,
No, not at all. 'Cause, I mean, they smell terrible.
that's
Yeah.
gross. Yeah, they really smell. I mean, if we've all had fish guts on our bodies, it doesn't
Obviously,
smell good.
yeah.
It takes weeks to get out.
Yeah, I kind of like the smell though. You get used to it.
That's the other thing that's really shocking is the lack of fishy smell.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like I expect that everywhere, and
I smell a lot more urine and a lot less fish guts.
Ugh, urine.
Yeah. And a lot less fish urine.
yeah, me too. Well, I think that was great. I think we covered what it's like to come from Cattywampus. Thanks for taking that journey with me as we define it in a
Hopefully
completely new
next week
civilization.
we'll get into the brutal dictatorship. Learn more about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
The
Like,
cult of personality.
I think the
and,
reason we avoid it is we're like not allowed to talk about it.
No.
Well, we're just not used to the freedom of speech that this great country grants us.
That's right.
No, we don't want to disparage the great leader.
Yeah. Or
Who is a giant fish?
The King Marlin,
King Marlin.
King Marlin.
himself.
the third.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Let's close out this episode with a game of 10-minute movie.
Oh shit!
I want to go back to the original format of this, where you remember we first made a coming of age film,
Yeah.
and then we made an 80s action flick.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
I think today it's time for us to make our very own Podworms sports film.
Hell yeah!
Very good.
Let's
Sports
go.
film.
So, what genre should this film? And also, what we learned the first time, we should name it first, and let's pick what sport. Let's pick the name, and then let's
I
go
got a
for it.
name.
What's the name?
Before the sport, Rules of Triumph.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll go.
Oh
with
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and badminton.
Yes, I think so.
That's the sport of the Podworms.
I'm looking around. I'm
That is
reading.
the Podworms.
I'm reading the room, and I think that's the one
I
that.
fucking love
Yeah,
badminton.
no, me
Yeah,
too.
I'm reading the
Good.
room.
You got it right.
Rules of
You
Triumph,
nailed it.
man.
If there was a sport that I would have picked, it would have been that one because that's the only sport I play.
Yeah, I am aware.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, so I imagine the movie opens over like a cornfield.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
And a farm,
Right.
and just a small, like really, like not even flat, but like just a really terrible net, and just like a 12-year-old boy hitting a shuttlecock up and down.
By himself.
Can I suggest that this be like a flashback?
Ooh,
Like this opens as this is a 12-year-old boy, and this is his memory of himself.
yeah.
Because we're gonna make him in the movie like in his like late 30s
hmm
throughout it.
Yeah, totally. And in the flashback, he's playing badminton, and he hits the shuttlecock, and there's a loud twang sound because his
Yeah.
racket broke.
Oh.
Grandpa comes from outside on the porch where he was already outside.
He was sitting on the porch watching.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, thank you. That's what I meant to say. He was sitting out on the porch watching, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, son. I'll be right back,
grandson.
grandson." And he goes into the back room, back room where there's access to the attic, and he goes up into the attic. There's like a 30-minute,
Oh yeah,
he has
it's
to go
very
to the attic.
The first 30 minutes of the film are just going up to the attic.
slowly moving up to the attic.
Yeah, well,
Taking down the ladder from up above.
but it won't come at first. So
No,
he's
he's
got to
gotta
pull. He's got to
mull it,
pull,
yeah.
and then he goes, walks back to the kitchen, grabs a broom, and
there's
he's
like-
trying to,
there's
kind
like
of hit it,
there's-
vent it out.
There's 3 minutes of him coughing from the dust that comes down.
And then his wife's yelling, "Tom, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing up there?
Mabel, I'm getting in the attic. While you're up there, will you get the old pots and pans down?"
I want to take him to the thrift store.
And you can see when he's like pulling on the attic door that both of his hands, his wrists, have wrist guards on them. he's a,
Both of them.
you can just immediately tell that he's a long time
Yeah.
old badminton player.
yeah.
And an alcoholic.
So about 33 minutes to be exact, later,
Yeah.
he finally gets up in the attic, and he goes to the back, and he uncovers a long rectangular box covered in dust, and he blows it off.
And there's a book there. and the book says The Rules of Triumph. And we see the title screen.
Yes. Yes.
Can I just add an addendum to that? Is that he picks it up and he says, "Old friend."
No, and better yet,
Clutches his chest. Falls over. And then smash cut. After the title card, we see the child that had been playing with the badminton racket that had broke. We see him now, 35 years old, kind of beaten down by life.
Playing at the same court
Nope.
that now has a gravestone in the middle.
Yes, same court. No longer playing though, staring sadly
Yeah.
at his grandfather's gravestone.
And then we have and so
hasn't touched a badminton racket
he's
since.
he's 35. So then we have another flashback. Right? And we have another flashback to
40 minutes of the movie.
40 minutes of the movie. We have another flashback to the same character who is now 17. And he's training to become a badminton champion at the Olympics.
Badminton master.
Badminton master at the Olympics, right?
Right.
He's on the US Olympic team for badminton.
Yeah.
And this is
And he's in a doubles team
Oh no.
with his very best friend.
And he's there. He's like putting on his wrist guards with his teeth.
Yeah.
Like really cinching up the Velcro.
Right.
And we learned that during their practicing to go to the Olympics, his partner has a very tragic badminton accident
Oh no.
where he slips on the badminton court and falls and breaks both of his wrists. And so he can't compete in the Olympics. So
He can't compete ever again.
no, he can't compete ever again. He breaks every bone in his wrist.
and for the rest of the
We're so entirely shattered.
for the rest of the film, we see him. His wrists are always up, just
completely straight.
just straight,
He's got some sort of contraption
holding his wrists straight up,
around his waist, and there's a pole behind his back with two ropes
holding his arms. Yep.
Yeah.
And he gives it like he tearfully in the hospital after the accident. He's telling the main character, "Do this for me.
You got a medal in these Olympics.
I never wanted anything so bad as this."
I know. You're going to have to play solo.
So he goes into the Olympics
Yep.
doubles tournament playing solo.
Yeah, exactly.
The final game.
And he's there, and he tosses the shuttlecock up in the air, and just as he's about to hit it, we flash back forward to when he's 40. and it smash cuts to him putting the spatula down, and he's working at a McDonald's.
Oh my God.
In his back pocket, you can see that he has the old book, the rules.
He's held the book in his back pocket.
Rules of Triumph.
It's pocket sized edition.
Oh, okay, good.
He's made it smaller.
He's got it on his iPad as well.
Yeah.
He's got a Kindle
You
version.
gotta have it everywhere.
Yeah, he's got plenty of copies.
Yeah.
And he's working there, and he takes his smoke break, and he's really down on his luck.
Yeah.
And then we flash back to
Before we flash back real quick, you see the other guy whose wrists are broken. His photos on the wall of the McDonald's,
Yeah.
and it says underneath the photo, "In loving memory." Okay, now we flash back.
So then we go back to the Olympics, and
It's the semifinals.
yeah, it's the semifinals.
Against the Russians.
Against the Russians, and he's cast to play solo against a doubles team, and this has never happened before in the history of the Olympics. And the judges in the world, and the judges are
Certainly not
The
for
judges
badminton.
are flipping through the rule book, like, is there a rule? Can a single person play doubles? And they look through the whole rule book, and they decide that he can play.
No, they're looking through the rule book, and then it's a close up of the rule book, and then all of a sudden,
There's a hand. There's no one hand.
a book is slammed down on top of the rule book. It's the rules of Triumph, and he flips to the page that says, "Yes."
There's only one page in the book, and it just says, "Never lose."
And they shrug their shoulders.
They let him compete.
And then
has to play.
as he puts it there, you like it like there's like a little like thought bubble over him, and you can just see his grandfather's smile.
And nod with his arms folded.
So proud.
Yep.
And then you also see over the thought bubble, his friend has also died and now joins him in the thought bubble.
Yeah, they're like blue ghosts in the thought bubble.
Oh my God. It's just like Return of the Jedi.
And so he finally gets to compete,
Yeah.
and he
But-
goes in for that final game
Yeah.
against the Russians.
Well, that's the semifinal game.
Semifinal.
He goes
against the Russians.
And he beats him.
He beats him. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Not even a big deal.
But now it's the
we don't even really
finals.
show it. It goes to the final game.
He plays the badminton match of his life.
Yeah.
He beats them.
Yeah. It's all done in like a 2-second montage. We
And
go
he
straight to the final
realizes-
game.
He realizes just before the final that in the rules of triumph, the one rule is you never lose, but you don't always have to win. And he puts down his racket.
Or written by his grandfather.
Yeah.
The very
Yeah.
back page.
And he puts down his racket. And before the final match, he walks off the court.
Yeah.
And he's disqualified.
He's disqualified.
They strip him of his
but
medal.
he doesn't need it. And we cut back to him working at McDonald's.
Oh my
He's
God.
on his smoke break.
This is the saddest
and
move
his
I've
smile
ever heard
creeps
of.
across his face.
and then we flash forward 2 months. And it's a gravestone. A second one.
He's dead.
Next to his grandpa.
Right next to his grandpa.
And that's all. It's where he wanted to be all along.
And then like the credits start rolling. It's like, I will remember you. Yeah.
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 That's not.
And
That's
all
not bad.
it says on his gravestone is the rules of triumph.
On his gravestone says the rules of triumph.
1953 to forever.
The rules of triumph.
Could I have one of those like fun like pre Reddit credit rolls where it's like it says the rules of triumph on the gravestone and then it scrolls down and then it's like executive producer and the whole thing is done in gravestones. Oh my god! Just because it's like a nice motif.
All right. Let's pick some executive producers for this. Let's pick some directors. I think executive producer for this, Ron Howard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Director for this, Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. Yeah.
You know, I was thinking best boy for this could possibly just be Ron Howard.
I love it.
You know, we never came up with a name for our main character.
Ron Howard. Of course.
It's just a story of his life.
It's actual life.
It's the whole Howard family.
A Howard family production.
There we go.
Oh, I'm crying.
Good guys. I think
Oh,
that
and
was,
executive produced by Jerry Bruckheimer.
well, awesome. There you have it, space fans. That is the rules of triumph. I'm going to close out the episode and say thanks for listening. You can find the Podworms Spacecast on Twitter, Facebook, literally any social media site. We're pwspacecast.com. Email us at pwspacecast@gmail.com. And then the Podworms Spacecast on every other social media site.
And Nordstrom's.com.
Yeah, including Nordstrom's.
Nordstrom's.com, Facebook, Twitter, the Instagrams.
Village people.
Villagepeople.net.
Yeah. And as always, keep